Da da da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And I don't know, in this moment, I am a little bit nervous. I am somebody who loves lightning and thunder. I love a good show when the weather comes. I'm not somebody who wants to see anybody get hurt in this bad weather, but I just got a notification. It was a severe thunderstorm warning all night. I knew it was coming. I could just feel it in the air. But when I was kept looking at the weather channel saying it's not coming till 1 o'clock in the morning, but I could tell it was already starting to lightning and thunder during the course of the evening. So I decided to get out there and go for a walk. Oh my goodness, it was just what I needed. Sometimes I think that I can just hold up in here and just gobble up lessons and take care of my family, take care of my house, take care of my cat. Can you hear the lightning and thunder going on? You might see it flicker across my glasses. But if it gets bad, I am a little bit nervous in that because, usually the Weather Channel is not giving us those kinds of warnings. So it must be a big one coming, because they're saying it's going to be like the gusts of wind are going to be really, really high. There's going to be hail. There's going to be flooding, like just my kind of weather. I don't have a car, so I'm not worrying about the hail ruining the car. But, I don't know. Maybe it was just the day that I was having. It didn't work out in my plans, and I can see I'm looking out the window now, and whoa, the rain has just started. If I lose my live show tonight, you guys, I won't come in. I'm going to do the very best that I can without getting distracted by what's going on out there. But you know what I think would be the best thing tonight for us is to pull a card and see what the cards have in store for us. I didn't think I would be able to stay up and wait for 1 o'clock in the morning when the thunder and lightning and storms started. But you know what? It's starting now. And yeah, maybe I'll catch a little bit of it tonight. It seems that I'm catching a little bit right now. The rain is starting. The thunder's been going on all night without the rain, but the rain is starting now. We'll see if we get that hail or that flooding going on. Like I said, I'm not somebody who wants anybody or anything to get hurt in the process, but I do love crazy weather. You know, I am somebody who gets a thrill from what Mother Nature divvies out, you know. And it's not like I'm out there dancing in the rain. I'm not that silly and that naive to go out there and dance around in the rain and right put myself in danger of getting zapped by one of those lightning bolts. But I do like to sit in my chair, got my feet up. Make sure at the very least I'm grounded. I am taking a chance with both my computers. I have my desktop on right now, and I have my laptop going on, and I have, let's turn the air conditioner off. We don't want to get zapped, you guys. I turn off the lights too so that it really could reflect in my apartment. But yeah, I tried it out on the camera and it's just too dark. So we're just going to run with the way it is right now. I hope everybody is having a great evening. If you're just starting your day, getting the kids ready for their day, or, your husband's lunch ready, or, right, maybe you're still in your pajamas, maybe you're still in bed, right? Whatever your system needs, this is the season for it. I'm trying to treat myself really, really well. But at the same time, I understand that I have a bit of a routine in my walks. And even though the weather was a little bit crazy and I was taking a chance of getting caught out in the rain, lots of people were out and about today. And if they can do it, I most definitely can too. Okay, you guys, I'm looking forward to watching a really crazy storm tonight. So we're just going to pick a card tonight. We're going to keep it light, and we'll just see what the cards have in store. If you've never come into one of my lives before, I have my own deck here. They're just 54 powerful words. I worked on this deck for over a year. I worked with each word for an entire week, looking at that word and playing with that word and experiencing that word differently each day of that week. And also having those lessons divvied out to me, and those serendipities and breadcrumbs that seem to come into my life in the perfect timing, right? Like the world said, I was supposed to stay home and take it easy and not do too much and not hang out with other people and stuff. And I go, how can I do that? I'm going to the hospital today. My sister had a triple heart bypass on Monday. And I want to be there for her as much as I can. But in her stubbornness, like you guys know, I come from a very dynamic family. Maybe that's where that love for the crazy weather comes from. Um, and my cat is just sleeping through the whole thing. The storms don't bother her in the least bit. But, my sister is very headstrong, very stubborn, and she has her way about her. And we had plans to go see her at the hospital today, and she just told everybody, she just shut it down. She just was not interested in seeing anybody. And you got to honor that. It's her life, and it's going to agitate her in any way. I don't want to do that. I'm just there to support her. But right? I was planning on that being my walk for the day, in walking to the hospital and walking home. And because I didn't get that done this evening, I seemed a little bit, actually, the whole day, I just seemed a little bit off, a little bit agitated, a little bit nervous. And if you can tell by this weather, I love the crazy weather, but you can see when the lightning and the thunder go off, like I'm like this a little bit tonight. And that is not the norm, too. So I have to take note in that. But I did get outside, and as soon as I walked out of the door of this apartment building, oh my goodness, it was, I don't know, there was no rain, but it felt like singing in the rain. It felt like it was just the most perfect thing that I needed. And I didn't do a hard, exerted, long walk, but I did take the long way around, and I, right, did a little bit of a repeat, and spent as much time outside as I felt would get me by, right? I would have done it a lot more, but I knew I could feel this storm was coming. Like I said, the lightning and the thunder, they've pretty much been going on all evening, but you wouldn't know it by the Weather Channel because they never get it right. But I knew it and I felt it, and the evidence was out there. Even though it was light outside, I knew it was going on up in the sky, right? Even though, right, it might have been blocked by how light it was out there. Once it got dark, it was, right, it was the evidence, it was going on. Okay, you guys, I am tired. I'd like to catch a little bit of this storm with all the lights out and a cool drink, and turn at very least my fan on and all the computers. Yeah, let's just grab a card here, right? Something that will be pertinent to myself, pertinent to you guys, right? Maybe just something that would help to calm all our systems down, or get us motivated or understanding as to, right, the things we don't get right, right? The things that kink us up. Okay, you guys, let's pick a card. You know what? This card wants to come up, so we're just going to grab this card. Oh my goodness. That's a great card for today, because sometimes when we have these days when we are not comfortable, when something seems off, right? You can't quite put your finger on it. You have to do those gratefulnesses, right? You have to take into appreciation of what is going right, what did manage to work out well today. I made some curry and curried rice for dinner tonight. It was absolutely amazing. I made a beautiful potato salad today. I got my laundry done. Even though I didn't visit my sister in the hospital, she's feeling good enough that she was able to get on her phone, and we did a little bit of messaging and stuff. I was doing a little bit of planning for my holidays that I didn't think that was even going to be possible this year, right? I haven't had a physical job that puts the roof over my head for 5 months now, right? And I'm not somebody who's ever going to allow myself to get in that situation where my um, life gets turned upside down like it did when I first woke up to some of these ideas. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I woke up to some of these ideas, that I took it seriously, that I chomped on it, that I found it interesting and enjoyable and insightful, and was able, right? Because I was an urban explorer. I explored more of the outside than I did of the inside. But I tell you, it's the opposite right now. And that will change as my circumstances change. So I have to be grateful for the lessons that come across my path. Okay, what does it say here? I'll put it up there because gratefulness is the expression of appreciation and acknowledgement of what we receive. Oh my goodness. I was talking about this on What's My Good Cheer, my Monday to Friday show, because lots of times we have lots of goodnesses come into our lives. And all it takes is one setback, one wrench thrown into the mix, one side eye, right? One person pointing their finger in your face, somebody yelling at you, somebody demeaning you, right? That we totally write it off as the worst day ever. That it's just absolutely horrible, right? And we don't even take into consideration all the good things that come into our lives. Like I said, I made that little list of wonderful things that were in my day. And even though I didn't get to see my sister, I knew in the lessons I was supposed to just kind of hang out on my own, and not be distracted, and being, my sister, very headstrong in her ideas, right? She really didn't want the company today herself. So, I made doing that. And even though the wrench was thrown into my day, I still made a beautiful day for myself. And, in this moment of uncomfortableness, right? And not knowing where that uncomfortableness comes from, because I love the lightning and the thunder and stuff. And yet tonight I feel a little bit off, like it's a little bit of forewarning as to what's coming. Or maybe it's, if I looked at it in a different way, I could look at it that it's the fireworks and the celebration as to what's coming. Because, like I said, there was more good stuff in my day than there was, right? Those wrenches. And, even though that off feeling was just underneath the surface of my skin, it was still under the surface, right? It would be full surface if my live show got zapped and my laptop got zapped and my air conditioner got zapped, or I got zapped, or I got stuck in the rain because I was enjoying my walk so much. But I have to trust and I have to believe that I am taken care of in whatever I do. And when I show up here, because another lesson that was coming across my table today for me to contemplate is, my idea that I always felt like I was on some kind of rescue mission, right? Not necessarily a rescue mission for myself, but a rescue mission for others. But today I actually gave it some thought and some contemplation where I might not have been able to otherwise, because, I would have been at the hospital with my sister, or I would have been walking home and enjoying the lightning and the wind and, right, dancing in the rain. And I wouldn't have been focusing on that. But I was, today at home doing my few chores and making my beautiful curry dinner, curry and rice. It was so amazing. I love curry. But you know, that I actually spent the day in contemplation. And I thought, you know what? From the very beginning, from all the insights, all the lessons, all the conversations, all the experiences, right? Even in realizing that I was going to get to take my trip this September. Like, it's a month away. Like, I haven't even thought about it in over a month, because I really didn't think I was going to be able to take it. And, you know, to have that gratefulness, to have that seemingly impossible holiday, right? That's my stick with the bag at the end for working so hard. But sometimes when work doesn't feel hard, even, right? Like, I serve it, I when I take it in for myself, I'm helping myself. I am rescuing myself. But I realize too that I come into my live show and I serve it too. And who's to say that in that jogging of contemplation on something silly that I bring to the table, that you might be inspired to do a little bit of contemplating, a little bit of movement for yourself. And then maybe in that case, right, it is a rescue mission. And I should, in gratefulness, look at this turbulence. It is exciting, right? But lots of people don't like thunder and lightning and stormy weather. And they got that weather warning come on their phone. So they know it's going to be a serious storm tonight. That maybe they're not settled in. They're not looking at it as entertainment and fireworks, right? That they're not watching the show, that possibly they've got to get up in the morning and go to work, and they're not going to get any sleep because, right, they're not as comfortable as I am with this weather, right? So I have to remember that when things are not going well, right, when those wrenches we talked a little bit about it this week, when those wrenches come into my my life, when those hiccups and those frustrations and in those little bit of uneasiness, I have to take into consideration and be grateful for all the wonderful that does come into my life. And also be grateful for the things that don't come into my life. Like, I'm grateful for my good health because it could have easily been a different story, right? There are lots of illnesses that run in my family, and I don't have any of them. I'm grateful that at 63 years old that I can go off and do these long walks and connect with mother nature when I can't get out onto the back roads and I can't go for my road trips and stuff. That I have a big picture window in this moment that's much bigger than a 75-inch, right, flat screen TV to have my eyes and my attention glued to. I'm grateful I got rid of my TV. I have a TV here, but I use it as a monitor for my desktop, right? Um, but yeah, I'm sorry. I really am distracted by the lightning and the thunder. It's the lightning bolt ones too, and they're right. It's still a little ways away because I can tell by the sound that it's not cracking the moment that the lightning's going off. But gratefulness is the expression of appreciation and acknowledgement of what we receive. I'm going to look into that a little bit deeper in this moment too, because lots of times we don't know who or what to be grateful to, right? And, I have to say, I'm very grateful that I've been allowed to be pulled in, right? Just not pulled into this age of AI learning, but to be able to be pulled into the understandings and understand that these experiences, right, these adventures, these understandings, and the ability to contemplate and read into my 54 powerful words, and to be able to look at a big scary storm and look at it as entertainment and relaxation, and right, as fireworks, that these are all things to be grateful for, right? That these are, I hope you guys can hear it. It's just starting to, it's going to go on all night. I just might have to stay up for an hour, you guys, because now I'm getting pumped. I might even go upstairs. No, that's probably not a safe thing to do, right? I said I was going to go upstairs to the roof. I live in a big high rise, so I could be right up there, right next to it, right in the midst of it all. But that would be kind of silly, wouldn't it? But that excitement's still in me. You guys, before a lightning bolt comes through my big picture window and zaps out my laptop and my desktop, I'm going to call it a night tonight, and I'm going to shut everything down, and I'm just going to sit here in the pitch black and enjoy the show. Hello, Eugene. Hello, Eugene. Can you hear the lightning and the thunder in the background? And my cat's just enjoying the show too. She's just laying there and relaxing. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it a night. Not much of a live, right? But sometimes it's just in that company. And you know what? You never know. In my own experience, and in coming in tonight and expressing my experience, you might have had a crappy day. You might have had a day full of wrenches or heartbreak or grief. You have to remember, it's no excuse, because if you really look into your day, you just might realize or recognize, right, that it was the best of times, and it might have been the worst of times, right? But we can find the good in that and be grateful, right? And just express that gratefulness and just realize that, it's hitting somewheres. And even in the moment you don't know who to be grateful to, that message is still getting across. It's still being heard. Gratefulness. Gratefulness is in the expression of appreciation and acknowledgement of what we receive. Have a great night, you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow.